One of the biggest reasons why I wanted you to come back onto the podcast was because she has this new job at Beehiiv. And so I'm starting to see a lot more across all socials, which she is now in charge of. So I kind of want to talk to her or have her take us through like what's the social strategy, how she's kind of like, seeing the voice of Beehiiv, how it interacts with like CEO Tyler, who, is also very active on Twitter and has his own like personality and, persona that he's putting out there in social media and how they kind of interact. And then at the end, we'll also talk about the launch of LA Material and then their work trying to get journalists to come onto the platform to compete against Substack.
Okay, I feel like there's so much pressure.
No, no,
I'm
no.
also only 2 months into this role, like, honestly, credit goes to Tyler. I think he was a very refreshing CEO to speak to. I feel all of us can tell when we read his tweets, which he, by the way, writes all of them on his own. Like, Tyler loves to do his own social, and honestly, he's very good at it.
Mhm.
Uh, but it was very refreshing to see a CEO so passionate about his product, but also very passionate about the team he was building. In terms of strategy, this is a very much learn as you go situation for me as well. I love social media marketing, and one of the reasons I took this job is because it's a challenge for me as well. It's very easy for me to talk about marketing and make a meme,
Mhm.
but the challenge here for me to learn something new was how do I do it for newsletters and how do I do it when the star of the show is our creators?
Mhm.
So, yes, we have a great product, but we really try to like shine light on our users and people who are using our product as opposed to like, we're a great newsletter, come join us. That's not
Mhm.
how we usually say our story. Our goal anytime we launch a product update or any feature is to really, similar to how Yahoo did with Cardi B, show how it makes your life easier. How does it empower
Mhm.
creators? Does it make it easier for creators? Um, and one of the stories that I can share is when Washington Post did their layoffs, Tyler very much was quick to be like, we need to help these
Mhm.
creators, we need to help these journalists. It did not come from a place of like, oh, this would be a great time to plug my product in.
Yeah.
His reaction was so natural. It was like, "Oh my gosh, how can we help? I think we can bridge the gap." It was very much like, "You have a problem, I have a solution, let me help you."
Mhm.
It's very much in the weeds with all of us responding to all these journalists and helping them get set up. And it was his idea to offer 1 year free of Beehive to any journalist that was laid off from
Mhm.
Post to help them get set up and start off as independent media newsletters, which I think is really, really commendable. Beehive and Tyler are obviously two very different entities online.
Yeah.
Tyler is his own persona. Beehive is of course, our brand account and our house account. We have two different voices. Beehive naturally tends to skew more towards the creators, maybe sounds maybe more closer to my
Yeah.
voice.
Yeah. That is one thing that I'm seeing more companies do where it's like that, putting back that focus to like the users and like elevating their stories. We've seen that with Stripe, when they did their mini city, that like all the little buildings inside were like Stripe users. On TBPN, we saw like Shopify buy out like placements for Black Friday and like Cyber Monday for like the shops that sell on Shopify. So I love this whole angle of like bringing it back to the users because that's who's making you grow.
And that's a whole other thing, right? Like Tyler is very technical. He is a product person. So he has a very different way of talking about the product than like say I would or a normal person who wants to sign up for a Beehive. Like there's
Mhm,
things
mhm,
that they want to know about that they might not get from his like big posts about what our MCP does, right?
mhm,
That's not their thing. So our job or my job is really to one, make it very friendly, very accessible for anybody who wants to start a newsletter. That is always the goal to make it
mhm,
as
mhm,
easy as possible and empower them as quickly as possible. And
mhm,
two, none of our competition is doing this. They're
mhm,
like our competition is very different. There's a couple other platforms that like I keep an eye on because
mhm,
I'm but we're not doing the same things. Nobody
mhm,
is really talking to the creators on a day-to-day basis, being in touch with them, running community programs, and like also just being online. Like we're not just showing case studies. We're not just highlighting
Yeah.
like our top 1%. We are really in there every single day. Like I personally am behind Beehive's Twitter. I interact with everybody that tags us. There are people that are like, I'm on my week 2 writing streak, and I'm
Mhm,
here to like make sure they know that we see them and we are
mhm,
encouraging them. And then there's people that are like, I made $3,000 from our on-demand ads program. So there's like a breadth over there, and my job is to make sure everybody feels seen and heard because that's really the ethos of our product is
mhm,
to be a platform for any creator. So I cannot just be like, okay, only people with 10,000 followers get a like. And I'm
mhm,
sharing people's birthdays, people's milestones, like all
mhm.
like the whole point of me doing this job, which I really love to do, is just be online and be interacting with these people. It's so
Yeah.
fun. And then also I have a little bit of power. I have a couple like codes for our merch that I
Mm.
will use to celebrate with people. So like if it's their birthday, if they launch something new, if they're a
Well,
fan.
you heard it here, folks. Whenever it's your birthday, tag the Beehive account so you can get free merch.
Let us know. Follow us for merch. And honestly, our merch is really cool. So I would actually check it out if you want to. But no, all of that to say, it is a special feeling. We all know what it feels like to get a response from a brand that like we love
Mhm,
or that loves us back. And
mhm,
it's special. It's so sweet. And there are times where people were like, "Oh my God, I never thought Beehive would respond to me," or like, "Oh, I never thought Tyler would respond to me."
mhm.
And I make sure he sees that and he responds. He's very good at it too on his own, but we really do care about our creators here, and it does make my job easier that everyone is kind of like on that same page. Uh,
Mhm.
and then
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, that culture starts from the top, right? And it seems like Tyler kind of embodies that. So it's not surprising to me that the whole company is kind of like that, that that's the people you hire. One thing I'll say is I am starting to notice that a lot more people, creators, companies are opting for Beehive versus what Kit and Substack. And the one that I've been paying attention to most recently is the LA material, just because I'm in LA, I care. I really enjoyed how they launched the brand with like the journalists all kind of like announcing it. But then also the funny thing that I saw was how they did the pricing tiers, right? Where it's like they labeled it according to the highways here in LA. So one was the 10, one's the 101, one's, the 405. And those were the levels that you were buying access to like the journalists. But that's like, it was surprising to me. I'm like, oh wow, like they're opting for like Beehive, right?
it has been really awesome to kind of see that go live, and I really hope it does inspire more media companies and brands to like take a page out of that book and pick us, or
Yeah.
honestly even try us. Um,
I
Again,
think that
I'm
was what was different about it, right? It's not one creator, right? Like this is a bunch of journalists coming on using your platform to be like their media platform, right? So that's like, really cool. It's like we're starting to see hopefully new types of media properties that get created in a digital era that isn't going to have to rely on or it's not, I mean, obviously they're gonna do like advertising, but I guess the model is different than like the New York Times or the Washington Post, like the way that those, old school like media properties work.
yeah.
I'm excited to see how new ones can like function, right? Because like we just saw that BuzzFeed has basically said that they're not gonna be able to like, go on much longer. So like what does that mean when it's like this, which was like very seminal to a lot of millennials, right? Like it was like the aughts, media
Mhm.
platform, for us, disappears and like, is no longer relevant because like it can't afford to like keep going, so to see like a new media property launch, I think is like super cool, and I'm just excited that like it's possible still.
It absolutely is. We really call Beehive, at least internally, a creator operating platform as opposed to a newsletter platform. It's like I am excited. I don't even have a
Yeah.
newsletter. And I'm like, I want to
You
make
want to
one.
have a newsletter just so that you can use all the products.
Literally, I want to have a newsletter just so I can like have
Yeah.
it on
Well, I mean,
Beehive.
I'm considering moving the meme team newsletter over to there.
Good.
So we'll see. So, we'll move on to takeaways. So I think a big one for me, just of everything here, is like how marketers are at like the front line of the audience and leadership when decisions have to be made about like AI and like product and how to make things happen that your community wants. Like you can be that megaphone for them and the voice by figuring out what it is that they want and how they want it, because you're ultimately the one that's going to have to respond to that, right? Like you're on the front lines, you're seeing the voices. So, just think about what your audience wants and how you can get leadership to pay attention to you.
My biggest one is really standing up for your voice. We saw that in how we spoke about AI and the commentary there. We saw about how Miley Cyrus kind of put for her
Mhm,
um, special to come out. And then something that I am also experiencing, there's only an upside if you
mhm,
stay true to your voice and you
mhm,
use it,
mhm,
whether it's for the platform you work for, whether it's for a show you were on 20 years ago,
mhm,
or whether it's with the whole AI narrative going.
mhm.
I think it's more and more important to, use that voice and not lose it and be a part of the noise. So I think, like, just a reminder to really put yourself out there, and it's
Yeah.
okay. It's okay to flop. I'd rather people put
Yeah.
and flop than,
Yeah.
like, bots talking to each other all of the time. So I think we have to
Yeah,
work
and
on
that's gonna
both
become more
sides.
and more of a thing, right? As AI starts taking over and people start taking those shortcuts and
Yeah,
using AI CMOs to write content for
yeah.
them,
We have to work
your
harder to
voice is gonna
preserve.
stand out.
Yeah, we have to work harder to kind of preserve our thoughts, and honestly, that's also why I leave typos up there now.
Yeah, right.
That's so people know that it's not AI.
Yeah.
Me and my fingers that were eating chips, and that is why they slipped.
So funny. Okay, thank you, Chi. Thanks for joining me. Please let the people know where they can find you.
You can find me everywhere on the internet. It is at Thukral on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram. Um, you're not in my Slack, but you can be if you're a
Yeah.
part of the Hive network.
Too funny. And then you can follow me at Sonia Bashez everywhere, and then the podcast at Meme Team Pod on YouTube, and then Meme Team Podcast on TikTok and Spotify. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.